Hi, welcome back to Dubai Real Estate Philosophy. My name is Ahmed, and today we're talking about the latest villa launch by Emaar in the Oasis community. So for those of you who don't know, Oasis is Emaar's flagship villa community, and it is not only one of the most luxurious communities by Emaar, but it is also one of the most luxurious communities in all of Dubai that any developer has to offer. We usually like to be boots on ground, see where it is. Obviously, Emaar Oasis is one of those communities that has just started construction. There is no phase that is ready yet right now, so construction overdue, but we do have a solid presentation. This is obviously a very luxurious product. It's a very high-end product. It's something you have to go real in-depth into the floor plan to understand the value that is being provided by Emaar. So without further ado, we're going to get into the presentation. Number one, we'll look at the location and why it's such a great thing, and then we'll get into the presentation on why Emaar's Oasis is an excellent investment opportunity. And of course, if you want to live for yourself, it is going to be one of the most prestigious addresses you can live in Dubai. So as you can see over here in the maps, we have Google Maps over here. I'm going to highlight basically where Emaar Oasis is, and then from over there, this entire red line over here, this is going to be the massive Oasis's plot. Now you can see this is quite a massive plot. Again, we're going to get into more of the details on how the cluster is built and all these kind of things to get a better understanding of how it is. But number one, we can talk about the strategic location of this area, right? Over here, you guys can see basically we have this road basically that is coming. We have that is going to be, there's a massive expansion that is coming from that road to this highway. All these things, this highway is going to be massively expanded, which is also called the Al Fay Road. So that massive expansion, again, look, Emaar is always working with the Dubai government. So RTA and Emaar have a strategic partnership, and they have the RTA recently announced that the Al Fay Road is going to get a massive expansion as well. No doubt that is going to help all the communities that are surrounding that area, including communities like Jumeirah Golf Estates, as you can see over here, Motor City, the upcoming Emaar Oasis. Now, this is again very strategically located because, as you guys have been hearing about it, the Maktoum International Airport as coming as well, as you can see highlighted by the red line over here. This is still a massive plot that is going to be coming up. Of course, we have Jebel Palm, Jebel Ali Islands, we have the Tihad Rail, Emaar South, all these kind of areas. So you can see this is a very developing area. Now, even though you might, as I'm highlighting in the green over here, this entire area might look fairly empty. You might be thinking, oh, it's in the middle of nowhere. That couldn't be further from the truth. Majority of these plots are pretty much sold out. There's massive developments that are coming up from a lot of developers, including Emaar themselves. Of course, we have Damac Riverside. We already have Emaar South that is over here. We can see where it's being green as well. So this is a very upcoming area. It's a very new developing area, and that's what we like to always talk about in this channel. You need to get in early to secure all that capital appreciation that's going to come in the future. Now, so this was just a bit more about the location. Again, of course, this is obviously towards the Dubai South area. Dubai South is obviously where Dubai is moving towards when it comes to developments and all these things. So definitely very strategically located. A lot of potential for capital appreciation and rental income in the future. Obviously, Expo is there. Dubai World Trade Center is there. It is rumored that a lot of the embassies will be moving to Expo. So if these VIPs need residences to stay in all these things, definitely Oasis is going to be a solid option as well. And this area is expected to generate 100,000 jobs. We have businesses, warehouses, all these things coming up that is going to allow high net worth individuals to come near that area, have businesses in this kind of area. So having the residents close by is always going to be a plus as well. So definitely a lot of potential when it comes to capital appreciation. Of course, as just like I mentioned, we have the Al Fay Road expansion, and obviously the as whole Dubai South becoming this hub of economic growth. So now speaking a bit more about the Oasis project in general, we can see over here basically we're going to go over this small presentation in order to better understand why the Oasis community is such a valuable community. Once we get into the numbers, once we get into the floor plans, people will understand, even the people who have been buying in the earlier clusters, all those facts that made those units excellent and amazing value for money are the same reasons this project is also going to be an excellent investment. So moving into this, obviously we can understand the Oasis, just like the name implies, is going to be a water community. Over here you can see a beautiful shot, as it says, serene waterfront living where luxury and nature unite. Now one thing you're going to notice, you can see over here the massive plot sizes that you have. We're going to obviously get into the floor plans later on, and that is definitely one of the reasons why this community is going to be such an amazing community. And once we really get down to the numbers and the floor plans, you're going to see what kind of value you are getting. Now, first and foremost, as we just discussed right now, a bit about the location, the Oasis location. As we can see, perfectly positioned, only minutes away from Al Maktoum Airport. As we mentioned, this entire structure that you see over here is the Maktoum Airport, just like we saw on Google Maps. We're only 15 minutes away from Dubai Hills Estate Mall, which is right here, again, second largest mall in Dubai. So, you're not that far. Again, 25 minutes away from downtown, 25 minutes away from Dubai International Airport, again, with all the highways and expansions. So, again, we discussed about this earlier, very strategically located. Now, again, this is the most important point that most people, need to understand. As we were talking about and why Oasis is such a thing. See, the thing is, most communities that you do go into, doesn't matter if it's Dubai Hills Estate or, any other villa community. The thing is, a lot of the times when you enter, that community also has apartments. It also has townhouse. It also has very small villas as well. So that exclusivity is definitely not there. The thing about Oasis and what Emaar is offering in this community is all about exclusivity. This entire project, as you can see over here, sprawling across 8.5 million square meters, is only going to have 3,100 signature luxury residences villa. And that is an ultra low density masterpiece. Okay. Because if, just like we saw in Google Maps, as you guys saw the entire land parcel, if Emaar wanted to make townhouses and sell it, believe me, just like the Valley, they'd be sold in an instant. And they probably would make a lot more money. But this is the beauty of competition. Emaar has seen a gap in the market because other developers are coming up with villas as well. They're coming up with townhouse communities. They're fairly congested. A lot of the times, the land parcel, the open spaces, they're much, much lower. We see a consistent trend going from, and not just Emaar, all developers now that are slowly trying to incorporate a lot more green spaces rather than just congesting everyone in, because now there is a lot of demand for that as well. We have all these ultra high net worths coming into Dubai. They want nice, expansive, sprawling villas, and that is again the beauty of competition, right? Emaar obviously being the first, and there's no doubt in my mind that a lot of other developers are going to follow suit. But for the time being, this is ultra low density. 8.5 million square meters is a massive area, and we only have 3,100 residences. Just think about the exclusivity, and obviously once we get more into the cluster map, you're going to see on how small and all these things are. Moving on, exclusively crafted master plan. Again, as I was just discussing right now, 45.2% of the entire land parcel is residential. 45. So that is less than half. More than half of the entire land parcel is used for greenery. So 25.2% we have residential, 25% we have parks and open spaces, 3% obviously we have public facilities, and 26.8% we have infrastructure and utilities. So if you look at other communities, more than definitely 80 to 90% of the community space is using for residential. So obviously we can sell the most amount of units in the least amount of space and try to make the most amount of money. This is exactly the opposite thing. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, okay, well, Ahmed, if it's an 8.5 million square meter community and they only have 3,100 villas, these are going to be super, super expensive, super high end. And let me tell you, once we get into the numbers, you're going to realize that is definitely not the case. As a matter of fact, if we really get down to the numbers and details, you're buying the villa for free. You're basically only paying for the land. But we're going to talk more about that when we get to the floor plan. Now, this is again another very specific thing to this launch. As we mentioned, this is going to be a branded launch. So Address, Palace, Vida. For those of you who live in Dubai or have been to Dubai, you understand that Address, Vida, Palace, these are all brands, the hospitality brands of Emaar, and obviously Palace Residences, Palace being named after palatial. So Palace Residences is definitely one of the highest brands that they have when it comes to that. And these are going to be Palace branded villas. Yeah, so these are going to be Palace branded residences. As you can see, Palace Villas Astra in the Oasis by Emaar. Now, why it's such a great thing, we're going to get into that into more detail in the end of why branded residences are excellent as well. Now, let's look at this render of one of the communities. Again, as you can see over here, kids playing around. The thing that people need to understand is look at the vastness look at the gap between the villas. This is really true low density living. Emaar could have fit, maybe 2 villas in the middle of that, but obviously, again, keeping with that ultra exclusive idea of the whole Oasis, basically design ethos. You can see, again, this is all swimmable water. The water depths are going to be kept at very low as well, so it's going to be very safe for children to go and have fun without any risks or danger. So it's swimmable lagoon water, again, as you guys can see. Now, speaking a bit more about the history of Palace, again, 2007 was the first time that Emaar came up with this idea, and they had Palace downtown. As you can see, some of the renders, this is one of the most successful hotels that Emaar does have. Again, in 2017, they launched the Palace Beach Resort in Fujairah, which is a very amazing staycation type area. Then, of course, the latest one in May 2024, they released Palace Dubai Creek Harbor, which is a gorgeous building, amazing views, especially if you're looking for New Year's. I mean, the podiums and all these things that they have are gorgeous. They have beautiful views, and you can see obviously the design ethos. Palace, again, Palace Residences, palatial. It was all about taking that royalty design, palatial design, and meeting it with the modern contemporary architecture design style, which you can see right now, where it's an infusion of basically that old palatial style design along, infused with the modern contemporary architecture. So that is going to be very similar. Just like we said, when modern lifestyle meets royal heritage, we have Palace Villas Austria. Now, moving on, this is going to be the cluster map of Palace Villas Austria. Now, over here we can see in this document, we're going to have basically 3 styles. Okay, we have the classical, we have contemporary, we have the Chamfered. And in types, of course, we have all these types. We have 4 beds, 5 beds, then we have 5 beds with basement. Okay, then we have a 5-bed drop villa. This is a pretty cool design architecture that Emaar has. And then, of course, we have the 6-bed villas. Now, you can see if we zoom in over here, again, super low density. If we just look at one cluster, most of that, again, you can see is basically you have how much area you have around each plot. Right, so this is all, again, open space, open space, open space, as you can see, not to mention the already existing open space that is outside. So again, curating to very ultra high-end, low density. And again, you can see there are no apartments, there are no townhouses, nothing of that sort. You have in between, waterways that are basically going through all clusters. So it doesn't matter where you are, you have nice views of the waters. Obviously, all your amenities are in here. So over here, you can see the parks, all these kind of things. So it doesn't matter where you are, which cluster you are, it is going to have an excellent thing. Again, super low dense. They don't have a lot of units, especially with this going to be Palace branded residences. And you can see where in the entire master plan, this cluster is outlined. It is somewhere around in the middle. Now, moving on, number 1, we're going to be talking about the 4-bed chamfered style with the basement. So as you can see, very, every time Emaar comes out with the design, especially obviously because this is going to be a branded residences, they do have to go over the top. And again, we're going to talk more about a bit about the branded residences perks and the historical data to understand why this is going to be so solid. But over here, you can see the front facade, very modern design. Of course, excellent landscaping. If anyone has visited Dubai Hills or any of these older communities that Emaar already has, you're going to understand that this landscaping and all these things again are not just renders. Emaar's job is to bring renders to reality. As we just saw, this was the 4-bed chamfer style with basement. Then we have the 5-bed without the basement is the backside. Now, going a bit more about the amenities that we have. This is obviously another view of the cluster map that we did have. Again, you guys can pause the video. You can go over all the things, but just to name a few. Of course, we have tennis court. We have the paddle courts. We have all these things, waterways, destination, dog park. We can see we got recreational trails as well, just for jogging around. You can see that is basically going all around the community. So you guys can pause this video and see more of all the amenities that they do have to offer. Again, Palace Villas Austria. This is going to be a swimmable lagoon, and not only that, we do have a beach style. As you guys can see over here, there is some sand element into it as well. So not only are you going to be enjoying swimming in this, you can also enjoy the beach. For those of you who have seen Creek Beach in Creek Harbor, there's going to be the same technology that Emaar is incorporating, and it really does feel like a beach. It is amazing. Again, all of the pools are also going to have that infinity edge, so it does give you that seamless blend where you don't see any borders or lines. And again, just look at the vastness of the community, the low density of the community. Here's another shot, obviously outlining the thing. And we have to understand, again, in this launch, there might be, 400 villas only. And all these amenities that we're seeing over here, the walkways, the waterways, the pool that we just saw, the parks, they're only for these specific, 300, 400 villas that are in this cluster. So you can imagine, again, how low density it is, how it's not going to be super overcrowded or something like that, similar to maybe other communities that you might see in Dubai. This is, again, super exclusive, super low dense. Now, moving on to the floor plans, we have the 4-bedroom. Now, this is something that's very important we have to understand. Now, we have to understand this part. You can look at the plot area. We're talking about a 9,000 almost 100 square foot plot, and then we have a built-up area of around 7,200. Now, so these are massive plot sizes, and this is the smallest one that they have, which is going to be a 4-bed. Now, getting more into a bit of the floor plan, you can see they're talking about a 5,500 square feet of open area in the plot. Getting more into the floor plan, I'm going to zoom in over here a bit. Obviously, you can see once you roll up, you have your garage. And once you have your main entry, there is basically a guest suite, pretty typical, with an ensuite bathroom. And of course, right attached to the garage, you also have your driver's room with an attached bathroom as well. Now, moving a bit more into the details, of course, all of these come with a lift. So it doesn't matter if you have parents, this and that, the elderly, it's very easy, it's very convenient. Of course, you do have the staircases going up and down as well. Moving in from the foyer, of course, we do have our massive formal modulus, and which is basically a living room. A modulus is obviously a living room in Arabic. And then we have our formal dining. We have a show kitchen. Now, what's important to note is in this floor, the ground floor, we also have a back kitchen, or a dirty kitchen as they like to call it, where the actual cooking, is going to be going on. And what's very, very cool is you can see this part, they have a dumbwaiter. Now, this is basically going to go into the basement, where we have a proper kitchen that you guys can deck out and obviously have like your private chef or your staff, cooking meals and all these things, and then they can set it up. We'll see that when we get to the basement. Obviously, now once we do get out, massive, obviously floor to ceiling windows over here. Once we do get out, we have, a nice terrace area and obviously a beautiful pool. And what's cool about this as well, if you can see, there is a stairway that is going down into the basement. So let's move on to the basement. So this is the basement. As you guys saw from upstairs, we have a stairway case that is coming down into the basement, and we have these open windows. Now, you might be wondering, okay, there's a stairway here, there's a stairway here. We also have a lift. Why is the stairway here? Well, we have to understand this entire portion, this is a massive portion, is actually open all the way up from the ground floor. And the reason for that is that when I say basement, you might think, what's the first thing you think about? A dark basement. Well, none of the basements in Emaar Oasis are going to be dark, because they all have these massive, sunshine drop areas where there's going to be massive amounts of sunlight coming in. And then you have all these glass wall doors that is going to let all that natural sunlight come in. So it is definitely not going to be dark. Again, coming down, we have a expansive family living area along with the family dining. This is that kitchen where your staff can work, your private chef. And again, here's that dumbwaiter that we talked about, where this is a very cool concept, usually, again, reserved for mansions and stuff, but we have it even in the 4-bed smallest villa they had to offer. Now, coming down again, we have a powder room, we have a laundry room, and of course, you have your maid's room, and then some service over here. Moving on to the first floor. Again, this is a 4-bedroom, so once you do come up from your stairs or using your lift, you have your basically 2 bedrooms over here. Again, all en suite, and with the master bedroom, of course, you do have a walk-in wardrobe, and then you have a massive bath as well. We have a family study area over here, and this portion is actually open to the down part on the ground floor. So that is going to give you that double height ceiling effect on the ground floor. Again, very beautiful when it comes to that. So amazing floor plan, excellent floor plan. We have to understand, no one in Dubai is offering these kind of floor plans, especially with the lit up basements and these kind of expansive sizes in the prices and the payment plan that we're going to get into very soon. Moving on into the 5 beds, again, you can see massive plot size. We're talking about 9,548 square feet with a built up of almost 8,000. If we scroll down, we're going to find a similar design of what we saw in the 4 bed. Of course, the terrace over here, it has a cool extra recessed basically seating area. More or less, we have all these things as the same. Again, all, if we zoom in a bit, we can see over here, we have basically the maid's room, the guest suite, all these things very similar to the 4 bed. Going down to the 5 bed, again, this is the first floor. And then obviously, this is the first floor. Again, you have your 4 bedrooms, all of them en suite. And moving on into the roof plan. So this one does not have a basement, but it does have a roof. Now, this is something that is different than the 4 bedroom. Obviously, if you come up using the stairs or your lift, you have a nice rooftop lounge. You can also use that as a 6th bedroom. So this might as well be a 6th bedroom, but it is of course up to you. It is kept open. It is kept flexible. This is a rooftop lounge. And then obviously you have a massive terrace area over here as well. You can see they've decked it out with a nice dining table and a nice relaxing lounge area. And again, you do have a bathroom at the top as well. So excellent design. Moving on to the 5 bedroom luxury villas with a basement. Again, I'm not going to go too much into it. Obviously now, because we do have a basement, you can see the plot area is 11,500 and built up is much more massive, 10,359 square foot. We can see here again, this is a very similar layout. Obviously the pool design, the terrace is much more different, but we have to keep in mind, again, with the basement, we do have that part that goes down. We do have natural sunlight that is coming up. Now, a bit more, something that's a bit different with this basement, you're going to notice not only does it have that staircase coming down and this entire area open to the top for massive sunlight, this is obviously a much larger basement. So there is also another place that is open. Of course, it does not have stairs, but you have natural sunlight coming in from 2 directions. This is going to be a very lit up, obviously, garage. You can see over here, they've decked it out with a very nice leisure area. You have some foosball going on. You got some snooker. You have your show kitchen. Again, you have your bottom kitchen as well, study. So it's very versatile floor plan. Obviously, with all that space, you have massive amounts of space. You can really use it for whatever you like. Again, this is the first floor. We're not going to get into this. More or less, this is going to be basically the same. One massive difference, though, you will notice is that we have the bedrooms are all en suite. Now, because this is the massive master bedroom, once we come into the walk-in wardrobe, instead of just a normal, we have his and hers walk-in wardrobe, and then we have a massive drawer in the middle for obviously all your luxury jewelry and that amazing watch collection that you will be having. Of course, massive master bedroom as well. Apart from that, it is going to be the same. This one also will include the roof plan. Again, similar to the last ones, once you come up with your staircase or your lift. Of course, we do have this. Again, you can use it as a room because you do have a bathroom attached, but it really does give you that flexibility. Now, this is something that is very cool. This is a 5 bedroom drop style. So we're looking at, again, incredible plot size. We're looking at around 10,935 square foot, built up area of above 11,000. This is something that's very cool. This is the ground floor. Now you're going to notice the ground floor, basically once you do enter, again, you have your foyer, you have your basically guest suite, over here, similar to all the other designs. And this entire portion is open to below as well. So this is open to the bottom. Now, what is cool, you're going to see the ground floor does not actually open up to your pool area. What happens and what is very cool about this design is that the ground floor basically, and this is from the side, you do have stairs that go down into the basement. So your actual living amenities and all that stuff is here in the basement. So this is basically your basement, which is opening up to your pool and all these things, and this is where the community level is. So this villa is raised a bit. Basically, the ground floor, once you enter, you have to reduce one level. So it is something that's very popular in the last launch as well. There was super high demand for the drop-off style. So they have, Emaar has also offered it here. Again, you can look, obviously this is in, the basement does open outside, so there's going to be lit up with tons of natural light. So technically, it doesn't even feel like a basement. So that is something that's very cool to see, a bit of a different design and floor plan. Now moving on, this is again at the top, similar to the last one over here. You do have basically that massive walk-in wardrobe. You're basically a middle thing. You can see again all bathrooms are of course going to be ensuite, and of course we have that same roof plan which is very flexible. Now moving on to the 6-bed, 14,800 square foot plot. 12,859 built up area. This is again a massive thing. They do not have a drop off style in this, but this is going to be basically similar to very similar to a 5-bed. It is just going to be obviously much more expansive. Just look at the area, how much open area you do have to play with. Your terrace, your pool area. This is going to be something again that's very connected with nature. This amazing design ethos that they have come up with. Again, going into the basement, of course, just like all the others, we have sunlight coming in from here. We have sunlight coming in from here. No dark basements in the Oasis, and a lot of flexibility. First floor, again, this is, you guys can pause the video and see about it. Obviously, it's a bit more different design, but more or less it's going to be similar to the 5-bed, just a bit more expansive in size. And of course, we do have that roof plan as well. Now we're going to go into the phenomenal appreciation of branded projects. Now we have to understand why address is going to be such an amazing opportunity. Let's look at these 3 points that we have seen, right? So premium pricing, exclusivity, commands value. You guys can pause the screen, you can go over it, but again, we can see over here 30 to 40% price premium over non-branded residences. Obviously, and just they even gave a comparison. So for example, if we look at the Palace residences in Dubai Creek Harbor, we're talking around 3,000 dirhams per square foot, whereas the non-branded residence buildings were only 2,200 square foot. So that is definitely a massive price difference. Obviously, brand is equal to status. Status, we get higher value for sure, not very different when it comes to the villas as well. Now, and what does that give us? Obviously, that we're talking about high rental yields and maximizing our returns. If we're an investor, obviously we have 20 to 25% higher rental income than standard residences, as you guys can see. And to give an idea, that Palace residences in Creek Harbor, we're looking around 8 to 9%, whereas the average city yield is around 6 to 7%. Obviously, high demand because we do have, again, all these ultra high net worth individuals coming up. They have very acquired taste. They definitely want luxury, and obviously if you want luxury, there is no better luxurious low density environment than the Oasis. And within that community, you have the Palace branded villas, so obviously that just makes it even more exclusive. We have high demand, we get all these premium tenants, and of course the highest ROI. That was about the rental yields. Obviously, strong capital appreciation. Now, building lasting wealth, we talked about already the strategic location of Emaar Oasis, but again, we have up to 60% capital appreciation in just 5 years. An example of that, Palace Residences, Dubai Creek Harbor in 2019, when we were selling it, we're talking about 1,800 dirhams per square foot at the prices that was sold. And by the time people got handover and now are looking to sell, we're not talking about less than 3,000 dirhams per square foot. We're talking about 60% capital appreciation. Again, it's all about limited quantity, exclusivity. That is what you will get, especially with villas, which is even low. We're talking about only 3,100 units in an entire 8.5 million square meter community. It really doesn't get more exclusive than that. Again, branded residences don't just grow, they soar when it comes to capital appreciation. Moving on to the most important part, which is the prices for all of these things, the prices and sizes. Now, this is something that we really need to understand. So we have to understand about, we're talking about the 4-bedroom luxury villas with the basement. Again, average plot area is around 9,000, average built up is 7,287, and the starting price is 13.13 all the way up to 15.79. Now, the most important thing we have to understand is that in today's market, if you go to buy a plot size that's that big, it is going to cost you around 13 million, more or less. If number one, you can find it. Now, even let's say you do find that plot area, amazing plot area, is it going to have the location of Oasis? Of course not. Is it going to have the amenities, the vibe, the community style feeling, all the waterways that we have? No. Now, how is this even possible that Emaar is giving you a fully built villa for the price of just a plot in today's market in Dubai? This is something that you really have to understand, get down to the numbers. Obviously, look, we have to understand number one is that Emaar and all these big developers, they buy plots years in advance. These guys have known for a long, long time that that Dubai South is where the growth is going to be. They have owned these plots long, long time ago for much less value. Number two, these guys are massive developers, right? Emaar, we're talking about a public traded company, almost 40-50 billion annual revenues that these guys are generating. So they have massive economies of scale. They've been doing this a long time. They have massive economies of scale. It is viable for them to build these villas at this kind of cost with the level of quality, design, ethos, and all these things following up, and still be able to offer it to you for only 13.3 million. This is, according to today's market value, is a steal. If Emaar wanted, they could have filled up the whole thing with townhouses or semi-detached villas, and just like the valley, it would sell like hotcakes. And I'm sure they would make a lot more money than that than just selling all these kind of villas for the kind of value they are providing. But that's what I said. Competition is a beautiful thing. They need to stand out. There's a lot of ultra high net worth individuals coming in. They definitely need to make an impression, because obviously for the future buyer, this is going to be one of the most prestigious communities as well. Now, moving on. So understanding all these points, again, now we're moving on to the 5-bedroom villas. You guys can see the plot size. We're talking about 9,500, almost 8,000 built up. Again, starting price 14.5. and max price around 17.81. Obviously, the one with the basement is going to be a bit more higher, but plot size is much higher, average built up is much higher. So again, and over here you can see starting prices 8.25 to 22.65. The drop style, my favorite style, one of the most successful floor plans that they did have in the last launches as well. We're talking about 10,935 square foot, 1101 actually square foot average built up area. Again, 22.15 to 24.28. And then lastly, we have the sprawling 6-bedroom luxury villa with the basement, 14,800 plot, 1285 built up area. Again, these are all average, so depending on what unit we get, it's going to be different. Again, 24 to around 28 million. Now, payment plan is 80-20, 80% during construction, 20% on construction complete. A very typical Emaar payment plan. We're talking about 20% every year. Completion is September 2029. Launch is coming up soon. So when you do secure your unit, we're in 2025. In all of 2025, you'll only be paying 20%, and then consecutively 20% for the years to follow. So this was basically a deep dive into the Emaar Oasis presentation. Again, I always like to mention this is going to be a super hot launch, very limited units. As we just saw, 3,100 units in the entire community. We're looking at maybe 200, 300, 400 units coming up in this launch. Again, branded residences. We went over why that is excellent. We went over why this is such an excellent price for what they have to offer. Now, for those of you who are interested in something, in securing a branded residences unit in the lowest density community by a tier 1 developer, Emaar, do get in touch. The launch and the allocations will be starting on 23rd of March, so we do not have that much time. Now, in this specific case, Emaar is using the EOI process. A lot of you, if you purchased earlier with Emaar, you understand there is no EOI process. You just go with it. You are allocated the unit. And once you do secure a unit, you pay the booking. Not in this case, obviously super high-end, ultra low density community villas that are coming up, very less units. They're not fooling around. If you guys are interested, contact me today. Again, I do work with Aon Tristle. We are the #1 ranked Emaar brokerage for 2023 and 2024, and we are continuing strong in 2025. We have a lot of priority. It is a lot more easier for us to book the units, obviously, because we have excellent relationship with Emaar. So we do get a lot of priority. But in order to ensure that priority, again, Emaar is asking for full payment of EOIs. So if you guys are looking for the villas, we have to submit the EOI today. It's different amounts for different villas. Get in touch with me as soon as possible so I can explain to you the process, because on 23rd, the allocations will start. I'm sure they already have a lot of checks. Securing yourself with a top tier brokerage company like Aon and Tristle. You can go search us, you can go Google us. We have Police Time articles. We are the top agency when it comes to securing units in Emaar. So let me know if you guys have any questions. This is no doubt going to be an amazing opportunity for rental income, capital appreciation, and if you're looking for a villa for yourself to live in, as we went over the presentation, there is no other developer that is offering what Emaar has to offer in the Oasis community in these Palace branded residences villas. This was an in-depth deep dive into the Oasis that is coming up, Palace branded villas. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment below. Thank you so much for watching this quite long video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye for now.